Well, it's a wonderful family movie called Every Second Counts, and it takes people into the world of rodeo, specifically an event in rodeo called penning. And I play a former rodeo rider, which is really, I mean, I got to play an ex-cowboy, which I've always wanted to. I think all actors secretly or not so secretly want to play cowboys. And he's a guy who's a father who's sort of had his dreams of being a rodeo star thwarted by a bad accident on a horse. And he's put all of his dreams and focus into training his 17-year-old daughter. And she's at that point in her life when she's not sure she wants to do what he wants her to do anymore. So there's a lot of conflict that comes into it, and a wonderful payoff at the end. But it was just a chance to play a kind of very flip side of my character, say, on Seventh Heaven, because the dad I play in Every Second Counts is a loving father, but he's a really dysfunctional one.
Mm-hmm. Do you think audiences are they gonna be kind of shocked by the portrayal? Like you said, it is kind of a reversal of your character on Seventh Heaven.
I think, from everything I'm hearing from people who are seeing it, I think the story just sort of pulls you into it, and probably a lot of people. I don't think it'll be hard for people because I think the situation and the characters are pretty clear in Every Second Counts, and I think if people settle in and watch it, they're going to find themselves pulled along.
Did you have to take lessons, horseback riding lessons, or anything before you started this movie?
There is one sequence at the end where my character, who was told by a doctor 20 years ago that he could never ride again, there's a scene where I have to get back in the saddle, and I did a ton of riding. I got up to Vancouver where we shot it several days early and just rode every spare minute, rode on my days off. And, they say you can't forget how to ride a horse, but you actually can.
Now, making this movie, is it the same as, like, making the show Seventh Heaven, or is it more like doing a regular movie like you did in the past?
This one was a really, really tough schedule. Yeah, no, this was exactly like shooting a movie. We were out on location really every day. A couple of big, tough action riding sequences. Really, really, really demanding schedule, but definitely didn't feel all sort of homey and inside the way Seventh Heaven felt.
What do you think is the lasting message about Seventh Heaven?
I think Seventh Heaven, I think the reason that it was so successful all these years is that it held out the promise that your family will always be there for you. And not everybody has a family that will always be there for them, but I think everyone dreams of having that family or of creating one with, as adults if they didn't have it when they were kids. And I think that is really what Seventh Heaven was all about, that family is a refuge.
If you could go back, would you have done that last season on the CW?
That's a really good question. I'd probably make the same mistake I did, which is to say yes. I don't want to exactly call it a mistake, but the CW network at that time was just forming, and they didn't really know what they wanted, and I don't think they really understood what they had in Seventh Heaven. So they kind of tossed us around and changed our time slot and did all those things that they do to shows that they don't understand. And so it was a tough way to go out. In some ways, it would have been cleaner just to finish after the 10th season.
I hear you're on Spamalot now.
I am doing King Arthur in Spamalot on Broadway right now through the middle of September, having the time of my life.
That has to be fun. I loved Monty Python growing up. I've loved Spamalot every time I've seen it. What's it like for you? Were you a fan of Monty Python?
Huge, yeah. Particularly, I started with the TV show back in the 70s. I think when I think of Monty Python, I think of very, very silly, stupid humor done by really smart people. And Spamalot on Broadway is the same thing. You add to Eric Idle and Monty Python, Mike Nichols, who directed Spamalot. And you got a lot of really smart people working out this very, very silly show. And it's a great combination.
Out of the three you've done, the movies, the television show, and theater, is there one that you prefer more, or just all three are unique in their own way?
It's funny. I think the artistically correct answer to that is that theater should always be your first love. And I do love theater. but I love doing television and movies too. You know, they really do each offer. The processes are so different. Doing film and doing theater are so different that it's almost like a different job.
Mm-hmm.
So I love them both, but and I hope I never have to choose completely between one and the other.
Any more CDs coming out anytime soon?
No, nothing coming up soon. I haven't had time to play much with my band for the last few months, so you know, maybe when I get back to L.A.
That's cool. Has there been anything yet that, because of Seventh Heaven, you weren't able to tackle, but that's been on your plate you would like to tackle soon?
I wrote 2 novels before Seventh Heaven came up, and I really actually thought I'd spend the last part of my life as a writer. And I really hope to get back to writing. I want to write another novel. I want to see if I can do it again. I look at this book and I think, how did I do that? Because I haven't done one now for about 11 years. I'd really like to get back and do that again. And I'd love to create a role in a Broadway musical. Doing Spamalot is so much fun, I'd like to do one from scratch.
That's great. And I got to go here soon. I do have one more question.
Sure.
Has there been a project that you've done you really loved, it was very close to your heart, but for some reason just the audience wasn't there and you wish you would like more exposure to that project because you love it so much?
Oh boy, there's so many things like that I think of, because you know, most things that we do fail. There was a television series I did called Tattingers that I thought got really, really good just around the time that it was canceled, and I would love to get that one back, but you know, it was 15 years ago, so I don't think we're going to get that one back. But those things happen. Success in television in a series is maybe half to do with the show itself, and the other half is time slot and luck and a lot of things.
Mm-hmm. But hopefully now with the technology, it'll come out on DVD soon, like a bunch of other shows.
Good point. Somebody make a note of that.